Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Ellensburg, Washington, USA, home of Central Washington University, and home of James Gennaro, the fourth. Never forget. Scene's in the building. Scene is in his usual spot, and we are loud and clear, it appears. Thank you for that report. Hello, everybody. My name is Nick Zentner. I teach geology here at the college here in town, Central Washington University. The local time is 11:52 Pacific time, and this lecture will begin in 8 minutes, right on the dot, high noon Pacific time. Can I ask where you're viewing from today? These are Geology 351 sessions, and we are up to lecture number 7. We're rolling right along, and I'm excited to deliver today's lecture, but it's more of a discussion with everyone in the room, as you no doubt are aware by now. Marysville, Washington, there's Letha Lee Fox. Ben is in the Netherlands, Culver City, California, Pearland, Texas, Little Rock, Arkansas, Browns Point, Washington, Sequim, Washington, Colorado Springs, Fort Washington, Maryland, Petersburg, Alaska, Tri-Cities, Washington, Petaluma, California, hello Liz, Murfreesboro, Tennessee, Elko, Nevada, that's Patrick, Hamlin, Germany, Amity, Oregon, St. Paul, Minnesota, Grants Pass, Oregon. It's sunny in Portland. Hey, is anybody watching from Leavenworth? I'm about to head up there to film an episode with Gary and Brady, and it's pretty cloudy and overcast here and windy. But I'm hopeful that we'll have sun and calm conditions with the beautiful flowers in the Wenatchee River Valley. Nick on the rocks, everybody. Plus 40 degrees Fahrenheit, says Don from Fairbanks, Alaska. Portland, Oregon, Tonasket, Washington. Oh, it's 72 up there, Gail. Okay. The beautiful prairie of Montana, that's Allison, who's Prairie Girl Rocks. Hood River, Gary. Hard to keep track of the Garys these days. And so on. Thank you so much for joining us. Let me give you another shot out the window. I've given up on the McDonald's thing. I think it's dumb. It's awkward. But we'll let these young people, oh, there's a guy with gray hair. Sweet. All right, man, yeah, he's lost. And now he knows what he's doing. But yeah, you can see the breeze going on here. The energy is filling in the room. We have a good group here. Very pleased with this group, and we will continue to learn new things together, including today's topic. Bree Diane, she's here. Make sure all these stations are working. So yeah, that's our home base, and I'll give you a quick shot of the detail. How about that? Mick? Good morning. I'm well. I'm coming at you today. I'm going to have you speak a little bit in class. You ready? Good. I'm going to talk about the Barbara Nash video. Did you watch that one?
Yes, I did watch that.
These guys will fill you in. Get yourself ready with a couple talking points. Good. You? Good. Let's think about Thursday. So, the Vans on Thursday. So, the Vans will be there. So we did this once before, right? So I will announce that you're leaving at 1:15. And everybody will jump in the 2 vans. I'll leave it up to you who else is driving, Ryan or whoever. The keys will be in your drawer and the van cards as well. If you're mentally prepared to be out as late as 7, we might be back earlier, but let's just lock that off mentally for yourself. And returning the vans when you get back to campus, and they'll be closed by then when you get back, so there's that key slot. So write down the ending mileage and 2 keys and drop them in.
Yeah.
We're good.
Sounds good.
Okay,
I saw
great.
it was only 45 minutes.
To our meeting spot, I think I'll describe to everybody, but our meeting spot will just be along Crab Creek, and then we will caravan to the quarry. So yeah, I think I'm giving you an hour. We're planning the meeting at 2:15, but I think it'll be shortly after 2 by the time you get there. Gavin? This is the ring.
The Peridot.
Peridot. Chris Mattinson's your guy to get the real scoop on what the details are. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, is that enough? That's your shot to look at the detail. Let's give you a door cam here quick.
I just get lost in my notes.
Okay, I'm making an announcement for you after class, or you're making an announcement for yourself after class. Correct? Okay. What's your schedule right after this class?
I have lab with Hannah.
Right.
I could go late if you want me to.
You want to talk to the home crowd for a little bit?
Sure. Oh, scary. Yeah, I can do that.
Okay. Would you want to do it with somebody else, or you want to?
Yeah. What? Don't touch the home crowd with me? Just tap into my old opera days. I can give you that.
Very good. Play it up.
Yep.
Play it up. Just go downstage. Just own it. Spotlights galore. I'll get you guys set up. That'd be great.
What's up? Hi.
Double hazelnut, double honey.
Oh no, I didn't mean to get hazelnut.
Oh,
I wanted to
scene.
get regular.
Scene.
That's what I like with my chamomile.
Chamomile.
Yeah. It's not quite a London fog, but
Wow. I've heard of that as a drink. That's really a
yeah,
drink?
well, it's like black tea, I think, as opposed to chamomile. It actually has like,
Okay.
caffeine in it. But
Huh.
my understanding.
Yeah, yeah. I like it.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, Mick, you coached up? Okay. Hello, front row.
Hello.
How are you guys?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. I don't want to take any valuable real estate from you here. Did you get the handouts today, Indigo? Did either of you guys get handouts? Can I ask one more time? Are we 5 by 5 before we begin today? As soon as I see a 5 by 5, I'm going to go for it. Delay in the comments. We have 325 live viewers. Thank you, Oscar. Good morning, young people. Good morning, young people. Good morning, young people. It's great oh, Chris, thank you. It's great to have you all here. We have a room full of energy. It's midterm time. We're not thinking about that. We're just celebrating the joy of learning together. And there's a lot of good new stuff to discuss today. I am the ringleader. I will lead us into certain directions. There are some handouts. Grab them if you haven't seen them yet. They're over there, over past Nick's hair. You'll find 3 brand new handouts. We will use them today. But I start with the bold open, as always, and we settle the room down. Yeah, there are people getting the handouts, but we don't have to look at them. We're looking here. The Ellensburg Formation is loaded in vitric tuff, glassy airfall tuff from frickin' Idaho. And we're talking about that all week, both today and Thursday. And more than just in the classroom, we're going to a private quarry, one of the most spectacular outcrops in the entire Pacific Northwest, and it's available to us because we have a connection with the landowner. The Cougar Point Tuff, Barbara Nash, Idaho sources. So don't be mad, I'm changing the color scheme. I keep changing the dates, I keep changing everything. You've been a good sport to this point. We're learning things together, right? Do you really want a class from somebody who's taught the same lectures for 40 years? Please don't say yes, all right? God damn it. It's a style that works for many, I think. The energy is there, we're learning together, it's all creative in a way. We're creating things from scratch. And with that, you have to be willing, I guess, I'm telling you, you have to be willing to roll with a few changes, especially as we approach some sort of evaluation of you. So I'm trying to be as clear as I can. I've gone absolutely crazy with the green chalkboards today. You can't even see them yet, but that's coming. But I hereby declare, I'm changing the color scheme. The color scheme we've had to this point, I don't even want to remind you because I want to change it. The state of Idaho is a red state, politically. It's a red state. Idaho has red potatoes. The rocks coming from Idaho are truly red potatoes. Yes, I remember to bring in the quartzite pebbles. These are what the quartzite pebbles looks like. We're going to see some on Thursday. The quartzite pebbles are coming from where? It's not the Cascades. Quartzite pebbles in this class, Ryan. The north. They're Columbia River cobbles, like these ostrich eggs things. They're not all that big, but a bunch of these river rocks that we will see in the Ellensburg Formation. I'll be more specific in a bit. I've got you now. I've got you already. I guess you just need props. The quartzites are coming from elsewhere. They're not Cascades, yes. These red cobbles are coming from Idaho. This is a whole series of lectures I made 5 years ago. We're not going to go into it. I'm just leaning into the fact that I'm used to thinking about Idaho red for political and geological reasons. And so I want, from this point forward, screw what we did before. I want red to be Cascades, no. It doesn't have to be Idaho, but from this point on, we have a red color scheme, and the red color scheme says Idaho or any other source, north, no, any other source that's not the Cascades. And so therefore, blue is going to be Cascades. Doesn't make sense, but whatever. Blue is going to be Cascades. I mean, blue, we're getting closer to the west side. It's getting a little bit bluish politically, whatever. Okay? So that's the idea. We want blue Cascades, yes. So I need more involvement right now, please. I didn't mean to snap at you. That was demeaning. What so far in this class have we used to say Cascade yes? Can be anything. Pumice class are blue. Chris? The hornblends in the pumice class are both Cascade yes. Blue.
The smaller ash underbeds?
The smaller, which one?
In one of the videos it said that they were in the Rattlesnake Ridge.
Raquel's moving forward. I'm just kind of reviewing so far. I'm coming back to you with that. What we've done so far, we have some Cascade yes and some Cascade no. An example of the Cascade no, quartzite cobbles. What's another example of red, Cascade no? Muscovites, right, in the base of the vantage. That's what I'm talking about. So at some point, I don't think right now, because I still want to keep rolling with this energy I have with you right now, at some point I'm going to be coloring every interbed red and blue, until I change my mind again, but hopefully that's it. And I think that's a narrative that's going to work for us. So today and Thursday is truly red. It truly is Idaho. It's not from the north. And the Yellowstone hotspot and the track of the Yellowstone hotspot across southern Idaho, which we all know from Geology 101. I don't care if you had me or not. Everybody, I'm confident, has been taught at least a little bit about the Yellowstone mantle plume. That is shockingly part of this class in central Washington. I'm coming to Mick in just a second, warning him about that. I did an interview with Barbara Nesh. I used Google, no big deal, $100 a month. Okay, I got myself to Barbara, I found her, and that was maybe a top 5 interview that I've ever done. And I could feel it immediately. I didn't know her at all. I literally met her 5 minutes before I hit record. I want to hear your reaction to that conversation because we are featuring her work this whole week. Make a couple of just impressions from that conversation with Barbara. Can't hear you. Come on, we can do this. Cool stuff. We need more than that. Now, what was she talking about? What was the main excitement in that conversation?
The Yellowstone
eruptions? She was talking about the Yellowstone eruptions. Chris, where is she finding generally these ashes?
Well, I thought it was interesting that she was using chemical analysis to figure out exactly where the ashes were coming from.
She was using, so Barbara was using chemical analyses to figure out where the ashes were coming from. I'll supply the information that the ashes are not in Idaho, where you expect. The ashes were not in Montana or downwind over in Kansas or something. The ashes are on the way to Ryan's house as you drive the freeway to Yakima. Or the ashes are literally over at Sentinel Gap, the place that we're going Thursday. Now, I'm going to freelance as well. I printed out the entire PhD thesis, not responsible for you, by Hans Schminke, which is he's one of the giants in all of volcanology. He wrote famous volcanology textbooks. He's a German guy. He did a PhD in the early 1960s, and Hans was at that quarry we're going to on Thursday and was saying, I should find it, hang on. He was at the Mattawa Quarry in 1962 and 1963. Oh no. Oh, it's in this paper. So there's a paper as well. So I don't know if you ever play around with the non-starred papers at the website. I mean, have you been to the website? I mean, I guess that's the first place. Hopefully you have, right? We've got these frickin' starred papers that you're responsible for. But the non-starred ones are mine, and some of the viewers are deeply into this, and so they're going and reading these papers. Some of the geologists are viewers, and they're finding papers they didn't know about. So this Schminke 1967 is the paper that Barbara was using, Mick. And she's like, this guy keeps talking about all these ashes in central Washington, and he's talking about pepperites. And pepperite, Courtney, you remember, you know what a pepperite is? You just nodded. Let's go. You got a question about pepperite. So you were sneaking a peek at the papers that weren't starred.
Well, no, just in the interview with Barb.
Oh, yeah.
She talked about pepperite and I was like, what are those?
Good. So Barbara I forgot she was mentioning pepperites. And does anybody happen to know what a pepperite is? Maybe Hans came up with the term in the late 60s. It pertains to what we were talking about last time.
I thought I read something about lava flow hitting like sandstones.
Yes. Raquel. So it's just one step further. It's one step beyond what we were doing last time. This is last time. And it's pretty much, I didn't erase last time. I've added, colors are on my brain. So we've reset red and blue. And then I thought, let me just, I don't know if it works. I did this an hour ago. Let me just use purple to highlight the lavas and outline the yellow, which are all of our sediment layers. And I've added 2 dates that I forgot to have on the board last time. So I did this after you all left on Thursday. Again, incredibly precise dates. What's our time window again for this entire class? Skylar, what's our time window from when to when for this entire 351 class? 16 to 3, thank you. We've been stuck on 16. What is this, week whatever? We're still on 16. This is all still basically 16, so I've got to pick it up. If I'm really seriously interested in talking about stuff happening 7 million years ago or 4 million years ago, I got to pick it up. So this board is still in the neighborhood of 16 million years ago. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah. So before we quit last time, there was a good discussion about the Rosa, we were setting up our Frenchman Cooley visit, and the Muma Creek sediments, both above and below. So a pepperite is the Rosa going into the sandstone and totally mixing everything. So I'll give this to you verbally. I did it quickly last time, but I want to do it again right now. Does anybody have good notes from late last time? What were a couple of words that I casually tossed out that is a geological description of a lava flow screwing up the sediment sequence? Gavin?
You said floating sediments, right?
I don't know if I said floating, but kind of like that. Does anybody have those terms in their notes? Julie?
Rafted or inflated?
That's it. Beautifully done. Rafted sediments or inflated sediments? I happen to like rafted better. The idea, I don't know, can we come up with some analogy here? I don't know. Like front table here has a bunch of diatomaceous earth sitting here. Let's call it Muma. And now I'm the Rosa flow, and I'm going to approach this area with a bunch of diatomaceous earth, and it's soft. Maybe it's wet, maybe it's dry. I don't know. But I'm on this pretty thick lava flow, the Rosa flow, that's coming towards this Muma sediment. If I'm truly a powerful flow, I'm not happy to just, Superman style, go over the top of this pile of snow and just come to rest. I'm going to dig in, hang on fellas, I'm going to dig in and the Rosa flow, am going to come right down and do a clean scrape off the top of the lava flow below it. And therefore, I'm going to raft the Muma. Did you see it before? If you didn't see it before, maybe you can kind of see it now, that I'm literally going to take this sediment, which was on the table, and I'm going to lift it. I'm going to jack it up to the top of this flow. Even though the diatomaceous earth is older than the flow, I'm going to eventually, after this rafting or invasive business, I'm going to take that old stuff and get it up on top, and I'm going to screw up the stratigraphic order. So the pepperite is doing something even beyond that. Courtney, it's going to be taking the Rosa and just say, there's water here, there's heat here, I'm going to just put everything in a blender. I'm just going to take blocks of basalt and blocks of the sandstone and make this, it's a smoothie. It's big chunks of stuff coming out of the blender, a mix of the sandstone and the basalt, just shattered basalt, shattered sandstone. That's what a pepperite is. I want to finish my train of thought, and I'm coming back to Raquel. Here. So this Schminke 1967 paper was literally taken by Barb Nash, maybe around 2010. And by this time, she's retirement age, and she's like, I don't know, I got this lab. I think I'm just going to go find some of these ashes that Hans was talking about 50 years earlier. Here's what I was trying to find. Here. Can I do a German accent? I'll try. Hans Schminke, 1967. I won't do a German accent. The vitric tuffs were erupted from volcanoes of an ancient Cascades chain that supplied the bulk of the volcaniclastic sediments of the Ellensburg Formation. The pure tuffs are of airfall origin. They're not reworked. That's shown by a bunch of glass shards. There's not a bunch of foreign stuff inside of it, and there's a bunch of unbroken accretionary lapilli. And Barbara just scooped up ash after ash, ran it through her instrument. She had a database of all these tuffs around the American West. Boom, 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 boom. Her 2012 paper says each boom is an Idaho supervolcano explosion. Now, I'm yelling and all that, but let me bring it down. This is an important paper. And yet in our conversation on Zoom, she's like, I don't think I heard from anybody. There's no reaction to that paper. I'm like, how could there be no reaction to the paper that half of these tephra beds, half of these ash beds in our county, in our state, are coming from 500 miles away and in the wrong direction, and not from just downwind from the Cascades. That is a revolutionary paper. And the work is just starting. Not by her, but by a whole bunch of other folks. Still got what you want to say?
I mean, it's not that relevant. But
Go
you
ahead.
said the pepperites are like a smoothie. Was that one of the things that you saw on Thursday?
What did we see on Thursday? We saw some diatomaceous earth,
Yes.
and we saw some of that lava,
The welded.
the welded. Yeah.
It's not either of those.
No, it's, if you're very interested in the pepperite, you can go right back to where we drove to Frenchman Coulee. I don't know if you were paying, or if you were driving, somebody else. The Silica Road exit, that off-ramp, that exposure is classic pepperite. There's a bunch of garbage and other stuff there at that little intersection, but that's a good look at a total mixture of the basalt and the sediment. But the general context is the same. These lava flows coming into these sedimentary beds are going to screw up the beds. We're just going to see that over and over and over again. And when we don't see that, like today's topic, and like the quarry on Thursday, we're going to see the opposite of a pepperite. We're going to see a vitric tuff that's been totally welded by the heat of the overlying lava. I don't know why. Well, why didn't that lava dig in and do all the pepperite stuff and the inflated stuff? We can have that discussion on Thursday. But it's just as well behaved and beautiful as you would want for a lava flow to just come in and gently rest. The more I say it right now, it doesn't make sense to me. Well, we can look at it. Chris, you got something else?
Oh, I was just, when you were saying about the work Barbie's doing, I thought it was interesting that in her paper it talks about the Capro stratigraphic framework,
Yes.
and how they were able to kind of put together like a more regional aspect of where all this ash was coming from.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah, let's do more with either Barbara's interview with me on Friday, which is at noon, in case you care, or her paper, which was your required reading for today. There's a lot of good stuff in this paper that we're going to continue. We're eventually going to a new stratigraphy that we're not to yet, but let's keep going. Gavin?
One thing that both her paper and your interview with her made me wonder.
Yes.
Since we have this mass amount of ash in multiple layers that we maybe wouldn't expect to see it in, I wonder if the wind patterns were different back then that would allow more of this ash to reach this location, this volume.
Thank you. Let's do that now. I was going to do it way later, but let's do it now. Gavin's kind of trying to visualize the regional winds at the time of these eruptions. Okay, I'm pausing. No, I want to do this first. Okay, I want to do this. I want to do two things, two main things today. I just decided. I'm switching the order. I want to look at this. And at some point, I'm going to get this all down as a separate handout. But right now, you're just getting pieces of it here and there, which is fine, I guess. But like for our home crowd as well, I want to make sure that we can see. We've got quite a stratigraphy going now. That's the older, that's the younger. Which makes sense? Does it matter if they're right and left? We can do this, can't we? You want the old on the right? Oh, you like it like this? Okay. All right. I still want to involve you. I like the energy. We're going to get more from Mick as well. That worked so well last time. So, Jack, what's this again? GR and W, you told us last time. Grand Ronde, Wanapum, we've got a clean break. So the Sentinel Bluffs and the Vantage Museum is an important landmark for us. That's the ledge at the boundary between the Grand Ronde and the Wanapum. Thank you, Jack. That's new. That's old news. Here is the boundary between the Wanapum and the Saddle Mountain flows. So we're using the top of the Priest Rapids as another major boundary for us. You know, I think my job is to zero into key things within this cake. Otherwise, it's just too much. So I think we're organizing in a way that I'm just trying to focus on key things. Obviously, the Vantage we spent a week on the Vantage, so that's obviously important right there at the boundary between the Grand Ronde and the Wanapum. Last time we were in here, and I was going to share a long email I got from a guy who worked at that mine for 35 years, and he had a bunch of detail for us about invasive and everything else. We can include that at some point if you want, but I don't want to do it right now. That was my decision. On top of the Priest Rapids with the fat columns, and we'll see the Priest Rapids again at some point, I think. Here's our boundaries. So can you do that? Have you done it already? Here's that same boundary. Top of the Priest Rapids up there. Here it is down here as well. You got it, right? So I hereby declare something else. I may be wrong, but I think Grand Ronde time is going to be like, nope, I'm going to do this. Boy, am I freewheeling today? Jesus. All right, everything on this board is barely Ellensburg. We'll see if we like it. The theme for the entire class is the Ellensburg Formation. Every time. And below the Priest Rapids, it's almost all basalt lavas and hardly any sediments. So just for slang, let's call that barely Ellensburg Formation. There's barely any sedimentary horizons to look at. There's the Coleman, we don't know jack about it. There's the Vantage, we're still arguing about it. The Lamuma is also kind of a mess. Let's get away from it. That's barely Ellensburg. This board, which is new today and is going to be our stratigraphy for the next 3 lectures, today, Thursday, and the following Tuesday, the 3 lectures before our midterm, is going to be, until I'm talked out of it, Lower Ellensburg Formation. I'm just trying to kind of frame our discussions for the next 3 days. So Lower Ellensburg is going to start at the top of the Priest Rapids, right? And is going to go up to the top of the Elephant Mountain flow. Where did we see the Elephant Mountain? What physical place? Drumheller Channels, that's right. That's the one with the beautiful columns. That was our first field trip. So we've already seen these gorgeous little Tootsie Roll columns in the Ellensburg Formation. I'm giving you some new dates. Most of these are brand new dates. Occasionally you'll have to update some handouts I've given you, but I've been trying to, with the newest handouts today, I've been trying to give you the most current dates we have. Am I communicating with you? Lower Ellensburg, from this point forward, is going to be top of the Priest Rapids up to the Elephant Mountain. And if I do my job correctly, I'm going to be pulling major stories out of these subdivisions. So ultimately, I don't know if it's going to work, but ultimately I want to say some regional things about the Barely Ellensburg. Like it's almost all Cascades in the Barely Ellensburg. And maybe in the lower Ellensburg, maybe in the lower Ellensburg, we're starting to get a bunch of red. We're starting to get a bunch of Idaho. That's where I'm starting to head. I don't know how much of these interbeds within the lower Ellensburg are going to give us a bunch of red. Pop quiz. What does red mean? Indigo. Not Cascade. Cascades, no. I kind of like that. Red, like stop sign. Like Cascades, no. Well, that'll be the hand gesture too. Red. Cascades, no.
Got it.
What's the hand gesture for yes?
Thumbs up.
Cascades, yes. Blue.
Are there balloons going off on your camera right now?
Yeah, right. So this might work for us. And my goal is to not be, well, in the mountain member, there's the caustic sandstone and across bedded across the vitrifier, and then of course in the upper, don't forget in the upper vis-a-vis the upper mountain. Come on, man. That's not going to work for me, and probably for you too. Just going layer by layer, blah by blah. Not interested in that. So one more time. Mick, what is Barbara Nash finding on this chalkboard that's a surprise from her 2012 paper? She found lapilli. You want to talk about that? You got a handout. Who wants to talk about accretionary lapilli? Courtney, you want to? Why not? Do you know what accretionary lapilli is, or can you use the handout to kind of brainstorm on the fly?
Brainstorming on the fly and talking about the Barbara Nash. So I'm assuming it will have to be something with ash eruptions, like the top.
We can involve a few others because you saw a video starring Nick Zentner on public television, an Emmy award-winning episode, by the way. And the music was just right, and we went down, right down, and I had a screwdriver in my hand. And what was I saying in the video? Raquel.
That it was hail covered in ash and then the coat got preserved.
Yes, that's what I was saying. And that's what it is. If you come, please will you come? If you come on Thursday afternoon, we're going to park at the base. We're going to hike about 500 feet up. It'll be hot. The old dusty, barely Jeep road. We'll get up to this quarry. There'll be 30 feet of ash that fell out of the sky from where, Mick? The Yellowstone Hotspot Track in southern Idaho. That's the other thing we're doing. We're going to use a Pacific Northwest map in just a second. But close to the base of the 30 feet of ash, not discovered by Barbara, they knew, Rick and Hans knew about the accretionary lapilli. Did you hear what Raquel said? Did you watch the Emmy Award-winning video? During this supervolcanic explosion, I mean, that must have been quite an experience. If you were around, when, by the way? 11.81 million years ago. I'm going to place it let's do it now. Our accretionary lapilli, your three handouts basically, are pertaining to the quarry we are visiting on Thursday. Where is the quarry that we are visiting on Thursday? It's right here. I'll make it big. I'm not afraid. Why did you say I'm afraid? Why do you keep saying that? I'm not afraid. Now I just got to do it bold stuff just to prove you wrong. I'm not afraid. Let's get rid of that narrative, Jess. Barbara's like, look, Hans. She might be talking to him directly. I don't know. Hans, I visited your quarry. I saw the accretionary lapilli you were talking about, which are these crazy little hailstones that were falling out of the sky during this hell on earth event. This supervolcanic explosion in southern Idaho where ash is falling out of the sky in central Washington. And I can find not only the little accretionary lapilli, where eventually the coating on those hailstones remain, but the hailstones themselves melt. So they're little hollow M&M shells. That's what I had with my little screwdriver. And I can't hold it. Every episode that we do for that PBS thing, we try to have a big, broad story, and then we want to change scales and have something super tiny. We think that works for the viewers, and I think it really worked in that episode.
The animation was good.
Animation was good too, thank you. That was Chris Smart here, who said we need and animation, and you saw that mushroom thing, that's it, man. So, yeah, just within the 30 feet of airfall, fallout tough. You can't even see what I'm drawing, but I'm just making, stupid. There's one little faint line of these little, cute little hailstone accretionary lapillae. Mick got us in that direction. What else from Barbara's? I'm going to use Barbara's stuff more today and also on Thursday. Sage, did you enjoy the interview? Okay, what stuck out to you during that conversation? You must have some notes from that interview. Or from the paper. Anything from Barbara Nash herself or the work?
I really just thought that her way of dating it was interesting to me.
She's getting precise dates, thank you. But to me, I don't know about you, to me it's not the dates that are the most exciting, it's the source. Where she has the glass, the vitric tuff, it means a glassy tuff falling out of the sky, and these little glass bubbles are breaking, and she's getting chemical analyses on these little glass shards, and if you didn't catch it, she had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of glass shards from other tuffs around the world with a chemical fingerprint, so she would know between Sage's age and her own chemistry, she can say, oh my God. You know, I'm going to wonder if anybody caught this moment. I got chills right at the end of that interview, of course, because I'm a prima donna, and it involved one of the volcanic units that I mapped as a master's student 30 years earlier, called the Tuff of Kilgore. Does anybody have good enough notes to remember this moment if you were still with the video late in that conversation with Barbara? How did my Kilgore tuff enter her work? And she literally said, and I got the results back. It's like, oh my God, Kilgore. Where was she? James?
Weren't at like some motel.
She was close to the Always Welcome Inn, a motel. Anybody catch where it was?
Oregon.
Eastern Oregon. It's a famous place because there's all sorts of paleontology there, layer after layer of plant and animal fossils. But there was always this ash bed, and nobody really knew what the story with the ash bed was. And probably in print somewhere, they're like, yeah, well, you know, we're downwind of the Cascades. I'm sure it's a Cascades ash. It's Kilgore. I'm going to do it on the map in just a second. Thank you, James, for coming through. Super senior. Chris.
Oh, well, like, I was just thinking back to that because of the evidence she proved that she's able to determine, like, those kind of fallout layers got deposited between Oregon, Washington, and Idaho.
Yes.
500, like, kilometers way past where it was supposed to be.
Thank you, Chris. Let's make that point. I don't know if she said this, but this is going to be a theme for us, maybe the rest of the quarter. By now, I think you know from our occasional visits to these yellow interbeds, Ellensburg Formation, whether it's barely Ellensburg, lower Ellensburg, or I promise, upper Ellensburg by the time we get to mid-May. There is so, what changed? I'll just say it. These beds keep changing laterally. We've kind of already seen it, I think, a little bit. Like the Vantage had conglomerates, and then, no, hang on, don't get carried away. There's these coarse, fine couplets, and keep going further, and then you lose it, and the pillows aren't here, and then the pillows are here, right? This is not a perfect German chocolate cake with an icy filling that makes it each of these white layers that's perfectly homogeneous across. We're good. Here's my point. I've been yelling a lot today because I think it's genuinely excited. I don't think I'm faking it. Maybe I'm faking it. But how can I tell you that this is a big moment? I guess by telling you this is a big moment. one of the most exciting things about what Chris just said were Barbara finds the Cougar Point Tough 7 at 17 different places from Idaho up to here. We have a timeline. We have a way to say, I don't care what's below it. I don't care if it's a conglomerate or a lake bed or a lava flow. I know that that little thing I can put my finger on, or in the case of 30 feet, Chris, that's one moment in time. And it's a way for me to correlate regionally. In my mind, that's super profound and important. I don't think I'm using the right words. Jack's going to help me clarify the thought. Go ahead.
Well, when she was talking about the geochemistry, the sort of the fingerprint of this ash,
Yes.
she was going toward the the continental elements involved and how this ash wasn't coming from a cascade eruption, because
Right, Jack.
there were what were these elements that were what's the word she said that this hot the hot spot finally reached the continent.
Yeah,
So
good.
What was the continental footprint that she was able to use to distinguish all of this?
Are you calling on me right now? I don't like this. Just kidding. I don't know, and I'm happy to say that. I don't know off the top of my head, but I'm going to do this on the board. Jack is going to go get us to this map. You got an answer?
I don't have a super, like...
Go ahead.
Well,
We're the blind leading the blind.
Sabrina, will you help me?
Yeah,
Okay,
isotopes.
well, it's
Which-
isotope geochemistry stuff.
Yeah.
I just learned it.
Fine.
So I'm not totally, like...
So is there an isotope? Is there a rare element that is saying we're definitely continental?
Strontium and neodymium, and then there's the other guys too.
Strontium, neodymium,
Yeah.
And
There's the...
niobium.
There's rubidium and the other thing is...
Valley.
So
Yeah.
basically, as I understand it, when you're making like crystals, whatever, in a melt,
Yeah.
you can replace, right? And so
Yeah.
some certain isotopes and elements don't really match anywhere. They're not compatible with the
Good.
crystal structure.
Good. Yes.
So then they like it more in the melt where they don't have to crystallize. So if it's more like in the melt, you would assume more mafic, and that's kind of your like tectonic setting.
I'm going to use this and I'm going to do more of it with you. Thank you. This is coming directly from Hannah's isotope geochemistry class. A bunch of you are in there. And we're going to plug this right in. I love these moments where I just can roll to the next plan and just follow this energy, because I felt the energy shift right there. Jack started it by grilling me in front of God and everybody, which I loved. And then you guys came in to help me out. Raquel.
One part of the interview that I was kind of confused on was, where does the chlorine come into play?
Raquel's bringing, oh, there's murmuring now. Murmuring about chlorine. Interesting. So Raquel's like, yeah, Barbara got into the weeds a little bit with me. She probably could sense I couldn't handle it. But we went a little bit where I was wanting different ways to say cascade yes or cascade no. And Raquel and maybe others picked up on her talking about an amount of chlorine in the tuff. And let's use our color scheme, blue and red. So if it's a red, Yellowstone mantle plume fallout tuff, is there low chlorine or high chlorine, relatively speaking? Does anybody have it? Chlorine's had to do with age?
There was a 10% or more chlorine that was used.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's coming on the board as well. I love this. I got 10 minutes. I'm thinking of, in my chicken scratch, I've got calcium. And she had high calcium versus low calcium. Does somebody else, can you back me up, Jack? So blue, cascade yes, is high calcium.
Yeah, right here.
You've got it.
Iron, calcium chart she had.
She did this. She did gang symbols for geochemists. And she plotted that, right. And so I had blue, cascade yes, lots of calcium, relatively speaking. Red, Hotspot ash, lower calcium. I don't know why, but you also have that. I'm not making this up. I didn't get it backwards. So we're working on kind of a master blue-red list, I think. We're working on a master list, whether it's looking for quartzite cobbles in the field, whether it's using my hand lens, like Barbara's like, goosing me along, like, you can do this, Nick. All you need is a hand lens. You can tell these folks, man. If you see a hornblende, that's from Cascades. That's blue. So that all is another thing we're trying to do. I'm coming to this. You want something, Julie?
I just wanted to add that she said the Cascades were calcic, acidic, and then there was dispersion, differentiated magma, shallow crustal magma zoning in the chamber.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, that went over my head. If you understood that, that's great. I thank you for that. So we're finishing in 8 minutes, and I'm going to bring this together for everyone. I can feel some going away. I can feel others super empowered, and that's wonderful. I'm between the two of you. Ready, go. Less than 7 minutes. Yellowstone mantle plume is here in northwestern Wyoming today. Yellowstone hotspot, Yellowstone National Park, and so on. I don't have to belabor this because you've been in geology a while, you know that there are buried volcanic centers, not at the surface anymore, they're dashed. They are calderas, they are places of incredible super eruptions that were rhyolitic, they were silicic, high silica, explosive super eruption events. I'm an old guy, but even before I was around, they knew that there was an age progression to those volcanic centers that are silicic. 17 million years ago, all the way up to today. Why? Because North America is drifting over this stationary mantle plume. We all know this. We're moving on. But to get to Jack and Raquel and Faith and Julie and Jess and Sabrina, others that are bringing the geochemistry in, I was planning on doing this, and I don't know if I can match your detail, but I found it super interesting, and I'd never heard this before, that this important boundary, this line, which is the strontium 706 line, I don't even really know what that means. How many times I've asked, I never really totally understand what that means. But the significance of the line is meaningful to me. And that is that that east of this line is old craton, thick North American crust. And west of this line are exotic terrains. Foreign pieces of land that have been added to the west coast of North America over the last 200 million years. So that's not the thing that was new to me. What was new to me is that Barbara had a date, 15.2. What did she say? What am I going to say with that date of 15.2, James? Yeah.
It's really harder to tell the source of the volcanic, of the eruptions.
Okay.
Because it's under the hotspot under the exotic terrain.
Older than 15.2. Yeah. Yes, let me put it in slightly different words. Imagine a stationary heat source, the Yellowstone mantle plume. Imagining a moving chalkboard over the heat source. The heat source, 17 million years ago, is west of this line. So as James just said, the heat source is underneath the exotic terrains. And there's all sorts of geochemistry stuff telling us that, in addition to just the field mapping. But what did I say, 15.2? Did I say that? Yes. Thank you. 15.2 million years ago, for the first time, the Yellowstone mantle plume starts entering the craton, starts going underneath the old basement rock, the continental stuff, Chris. and others. There's apparently a major isotopic change in the details of these tuffs because we're blowing holes in the basement of North America, not blowing holes in this fruitcake out here that's a bunch of different kinds of crust that came in recently. I think that's interesting for a couple of reasons. One, our regional story, that's another way to say this, James, the influence or the footprint of the Yellowstone mantle plume earlier than 15.2 can be felt as far away as here. Yakima basalts, right? We're tying our basalts, every one of these frickin' purple things, to the Yellowstone mantle plume. But once we cross the old North American West Coast, in other words, in addition to the chemistry changing, it becomes a much more narrow pathway. It's no longer a broad regional story. It's a, if you want to think of a blowtorch, it's making a nice clean trail through the sheet of aluminum because it's fighting this different stuff, this older, deeper, thicker crust, this continental crust. And what I think is interesting, and I promise I'm coming to you, is that 15.2, therefore, is a significant number. And what's going on in our stack? Our whole barely Ellensburg formation, we haven't even gotten to the craton yet. But 15.2 is right in here somewhere. I promise I'm about to come to you. So is it an accident that we're going to suddenly pick up a bunch of red? I didn't have that till right now. I like that. Is it an accident that we have suddenly a bunch more red younger than 15.2? Maybe not, because that's when we start the huge kabooms going through the stubborn craton. And so there's a correlation between, I'm going to screw up my picture now. Oh God, I haven't. Maybe that's a major theme, that we get all these fallout tuffs, but only until the hotspot has crossed the line and started making holes in the craton. Damn! The instructor is impressed with himself right now. That's gross and nauseating. Hands were up. Let's go. Gavin, and then Jess.
One thing I've noticed is once we hit the 15.2 mark,
Right?
it seems like the log flows are slowing down and becoming less involved.
There's less in volume for sure. So yes, that's another thing that Gavin's noticing. We get past the main phase, we hardly have a lot of purple lavas anymore because, yeah, this mantle plume has left the fruitcake. Jess?
Well, I'm just noticing Pomona is it happened at 11.2 million years ago, and Ashfall was at 11.8, and that just seems really fast to be exploding and then flooding. And
It does seem. So Jess is leading us to our next session where we're going to get into some detailed stratigraphy. The Pomona, which we haven't even mentioned yet, which is the dip slope heading down to Sela. There's some of this Cougar Point tuff truly in the freeway road cut right at the Yakima County line. I mean, there's all sorts of local payoffs for this regional story. And that's where we're going. I'm going to keep both strat columns on the board, and we focus in on that when we meet on Thursday. It's 12:50, everyone. Before you leave, Alita has a quick, short announcement, and then we have a couple of classmates who are going to talk to the folks at home. Alita, please, nice and loud now.
So I'm doing some research and I need to hike like pretty deep into, I'm not gonna say where, 'cause, you know.
That's fine. Yep.
And I'm wondering if someone wants to come and join, help get some like samples and everything. So just let me know.
for this summer, yeah. So please see Alita about being a field assistant in some mystery area for whatever duration, but that'd be wonderful if you could help out. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you Thursday. Check your email for details on our field trip.
I was wondering, Barb mentions in that interview that there's only been 2 instances through that whole hotspot's history
Right.
where there's been an output of fireworks.
Right.
Where are those ash layers at exactly? Do we know, or like, do we have any that are touching our region, or is that like a whole different regional layout of ash?
I don't remember. I recognized one of the 2 exceptions. I think it was it was like over by Pocatello, Idaho.
Okay,
And
so
it was
this
such
is
a
further in.
further in, and what I took from it is that it's such an exception to the rule that I'm just going to ignore it.
Well, I was just thinking, like, such regional coverage, and then she goes, well, only 2 times, but then I was thinking, like,
Right.
gosh, this must have been a smaller eruption event.
It
Because
could have
I feel
been.
like we still have that somewhere
Right,
regionally. So.
right. I could have done. Yeah, good, Chris. You're into this. Wonderful. Okay, everybody. I think we have 2 new students to this experience. I want you to visit Raquel and Faith. And then I'll come on and interact with you a little bit directly here. Okay, you guys. Thank you. That's fine. That's fine. Can you put this on?
What do we do? What do we say? Benighted.
And
Where do I look?
you can read these comments.
Okay.
If you stand right here, you got
Is there a
it.
spot?
Yep. You just kind of look up at the camera and we'll make sure you're on. Yep, you're
Look
on.
at the camera.
And can you,
Let me hold this.
so can you guys, yeah.
Oh, there's a
Can you
lag.
Introduce yourselves, talk to these guys, and if you've got just a moment, maybe you can just say what your experience has been like here so far, or what your schedule is this quarter, or anything about yourself.
Okay.
Want to go first?
Sure. I'm Raquel Rising. I'm a geology BS major, as of this year actually. 210 convinced me to be a BS major. Before that, I was environmental science, and I'm really enjoying my classes this quarter. A lot of field work, which is really nice to switch up from labs. But I don't know what I want to do with my career yet. I just know I'm following the path, seeing where it takes me. I know I want to work outside. You want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I
There
have
you
a thing
go.
right here.
Oh.
My name is Faith Nolander. I'm a sophomore here, and I forgot what the other questions were.
Well, yeah, I mean, we can just kind of roll on whatever you
They're
like.
just sort of saying hello.
Hello, guys.
What are your areas of geology that you guys are most excited about so far?
I'm a big fan of mineralogy and geochemistry and things like that. I'm really enjoying Hannah's isotope geochemistry class this quarter,
Good.
hence my
Right.
intrusion.
And Raquel, you were formerly what major, and you were slowly
I was just talking
you
about
were
that.
okay.
Yes.
Good.
That's why I'm kind of interested in like terrestrial geology, like erosion and more wildlife with fisheries.
Good.
But I'm also really interested in mineralogy and collecting samples. So I don't know how to mix those, but that's my interest.
It's okay, you know, that we're just exploring different possibilities.
Yes,
and,
exactly.
there's always this pressure that you have to decide like soon what your
I just like
special is.
rocks.
There you go.
I just like picking up rocks off the
There you
ground
go.
and looking at them.
Yeah. How about one more thing before you have to go? You were out on all of our Thursday afternoons.
Mm-hmm.
Tell these guys what you liked, or were those new places for you? What was your favorite? That sort of thing.
They definitely weren't new places to me because I've taken the 188 trip here and done other field trips in geology, but I think it's really interesting learning more about basalt because I always, no offense, found them kind of boring just because they're not like minerals, but when I learned more about the crystallization and the formation, how much of it actually is a story, I've come to really like them. But yeah,
Yay!
I have to go.
Okay.
Here's
I will.
this.
Well, I have to now.
Thank you guys.
Yeah. Okay. Love you. Bye.
I'm reading what they're saying.
This is Miss
Raquel with a Q.
This is so overstimulating. I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I guess if anyone has any questions about
Astrogeologist.
anything, yeah, look into that. There's like planetary geology and stuff at NASA. It's pretty cool.
That is interesting.
Have either of us been to a caldera? I have not. Well, I mean, I've been to Yellowstone National Park, but there's not really like
I don't think there's a big old caldera there. Have you
I
been to
have
Crater
not.
Lake?
I
No.
have not. That's on my bucket list, though.
I'd like to.
Yes.
How many majors are there in the department right now? I don't know. Quite a few.
In the department, we have the specializations.
Yeah.
Like, there's an environmental specialization. I only know really the BS because that's what all of us are taking.
What rocks or minerals do you prefer? I'm partial to garnet. I like metamorphic stuff. I like igneous stuff. It's pretty.
I like actinolite because I want to go find it at Lake Wenatchee.
No, it's all gonna be gone. They're all gonna
They don't
flock.
know the spots. Even I don't know the spots.
Sturgeon? The park is a caldera? Okay, then yeah, I've been to a caldera.
Been to Mount Baker? Yes.
Where's Mount Baker?
Love to snowboard there.
Where's Mount Baker?
Up in Bellingham.
I'm from Spokane. I don't know where any of the Cascades are. East side represent.
Yes. West side.
Caldera is their drink word. They're gonna black out. Almadine, nice. Almadine is nice.
Oh, yes. I like epidote. That was my sample from 210 that I did in mineralogy for a project. Did all the SCM work and the...
Yellowstone definitely qualifies. Okay.
What else did we do? Just the
SEM stuff. We did
the
thin
microscopic
sections.
stuff.
Yep.
That was fun.
Learned all about the petrological microscopes. Yeah, they're really into sturgeon. There's some cool stilpinate. What is it? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Trying to read in the. I think it's a mineral. I don't know. Oh no. Okay. I don't know.
I'm not sure. I've never heard of it before.
I don't know. What was chloride means to rock?
That's the green. Oh, that's chlorite.
I don't know. I don't know what the chloride means.
I
That's
only
a
know
question. I gotta go ask per.
Chris Mattinson.
Yeah, Chris Mattinson would know, or Hannah. They're talking about
I
Crater
find
Lake
a
being
lot of
shut down.
epidote and gold prospect.
Where's
Oh.
Yuma?
I don't know, but that's really cool that you find it when doing
Wes
that.
Dons did mineralogy as part of his degree, but over 50 years ago. I bet it's a little different now. I've got a couple more advanced techniques. One thing that was interesting is in our microscopes, the light bulbs used to be, was it halogen? So the colors were different from like the more yellow light, and now it's all LED, so it's not as hot. And it's a little bit easier on our eyes, but all the colors look weird, and it's hard to distinguish. So maybe there is some benefit to doing optical mineralogy 50 years ago.
I mean,
Hot
even
spot
still,
test.
your eyes get kind of tired from looking at
Yeah.
that thing for 10 hours.
Yes, locked in the lab for hours on end.
What about your SEM right now? Are you doing microscopic
Oh yeah,
right
I'm
now?
doing research with Chris Mattinson right now under one of his grad students. We're doing some SEM stuff. They're already scanned. All the samples, thin sections are scanned, but it's kind of different. They've scanned a whole thin section as opposed to just an area. So I am mapping all of the minerals in an entire thin section,
What
and
are
we're
you trying
looking
to
for
find?
we're looking for tungsten ores.
Oh, interesting. Have you found any yet?
No, I haven't.
Bummer.
But it's like scheelite and wollastonite.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm unsuccessful.
How you guys doing? Is that enough?
Good. I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh yeah, he says. Yeah.
Please keep going.
No, I'm
You said
okay.
you wanna-
I'm okay. I'm
You
just
both
giving you a
have the
hard
same
time.
class?
Well, I gotta run and go take a test.
Okay.
I have
Okay.
to go to DMV.
You drive.
License.
Oh,
My new license.
I think it's in the lab.
I gotta do that.
Did you just go to the lab?
That was a fun lecture.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick.
Thanks, you guys.
Of course. See you Thursday.
See you Thursday. Okay. Still have 425 folks here. Let's do a little live Q&A. If you're curious about anything, that was scattered, more so than normal. But I really like a few of those moments. And that red moment towards the end was truly brand new to me, and I hope it's correct. I'll have to think more about it. Uppercase for your questions, please. Patrick, is there a corresponding drop in lithium concentration when the Yellowstone hotspot crosses the strontium 706 line? I wish I knew, Patrick. Thank you for pointing that out. I vaguely knew the timing of the mantle plume crossing from exotic terrains to craton, but to have a precise date and then to think about how that changes what's going on locally, that is super exciting to me. But I'm not going to be a geochemistry person. I went as far as I could this past winter, and even that was a struggle. I thought the Barb Nash video was superb. Me too, Wes. In the moment, I knew that was a top 5 video, and I think I've done more than 100 videos now. No slight to any of those folks, but she's got to be in her 80s. She has to be in her 80s. She was just razor sharp, I thought, and funny and fun. It's like I truly just met her. It felt like I'd known her for years. And yeah, she used to be William Nash, and now she's Barbara Nash. Have the pepperites been used to make a paleo map of the lake back then? Probably, Chris. I'm not sure. I don't know how consistent those pepperites are. Maybe they have been mapped, but maybe you can get pepperites in a... We're back to the river versus lake thing. Is it worth differentiating that? I'm going to scroll back. I don't know how much you got from the 2 gals today. They are developing a voice in here. You know, I'm calling on people, as you noticed, and sometimes it goes very poorly, and they are you know, it just doesn't work. They're not mature enough. Those 2 young gals are smart, and they are naturally quiet, but I can feel them loosening up and being more bold in class, and that's what we want. It's delicate. Well, I don't see any more uppercase. I'll just wait for a couple more minutes here quick. I'm heading to Leavenworth to film a PBS episode this afternoon, this evening, and tomorrow morning on the Chumstick Basin, basically.
That's what I used to do when I was picking crystals. I would just have like music or something. I got to the
I mean, ideally, you'll get to know every person in this class, but I don't think that's likely going to happen. We have some folks who are still trying to discover who they are and develop who they are. Okay, I guess that's it. Thanks, everybody. We'll give you a couple more quick shots of the room and then out the window, and I'll say thank you for tuning in today, and we will continue thinking about Barbara Nash's work on Thursday at noon Pacific. Thank you. I love you, and goodbye. There's the tracking. Oh yeah, Ariel needs to teach. All right, so she's giving me the he-ho anyway. An hour ahead of time, I might add. But let me give you a... All right, she's kicking me out.